I want to know if with a £100 budget I can flip my way up to an electric mountain bike, all in a bid to surprise my dad in only a couple of months' time so he can beat his injuries and get back out on his bike. And I'll be documenting it every step of the way to see if it's possible to complete this crazy challenge. So let's dive into episode 1. So I need to find a bike that is under £100 that I can ideally restore and sell for more money to put into the next project. Now I found a few candidates, but people are asking crazy amounts of money for bikes that still need loads and loads of work. So I need to stay on this laptop and do a little bit more digging. While I search for some more prospects, I'll explain the 3 principles I'm following throughout this project. Number 1 is that I want the bikes to be restored to good mechanical condition for their next owner, not just flipping them for a quick profit. Number 2 is to try my best to avoid stolen bikes and deals that look too good to be true. And number 3 is that if there's any remaining profits at the end of this series after I've got my dad the e-bike, that I want to donate them to a charity of the community's choice. So I really hope that you all enjoy watching and supporting this series. Right, so it's the next morning and I think I've found a promising bike. It's in pretty gnarly condition, but I think it's going to be possible to restore. The only thing now is the price. So the guy's asking for £50, so I'm going to message him now, ask if he'll do 30, saying that I can come over and collect this morning. So let's keep fingers crossed. Luckily the seller agreed to my offer, so I then rushed off to meet them. But was the bike all that I'd hoped for? What have I just done? Right, so let's have a better look at what I have bought here. So this is a Carrera Velour 27.5 inch wheel mountain bike. And I'm going to be honest, I think there is a lot wrong with this and it's going to take a lot of work to get this up to the standard that I think I want to sell it at, but we are on a tight budget. So let's have a look at the items that I think really need to be replaced. So let's start up here. So the saddle, it's a bit damaged. As you can see here, I think what's going to be best is if we just replace this rather than trying to restore it. It's probably going to be quite a lot of work to try and push this all back together. Then as we go down, we can see the seat post is pretty worn. Again, some of that might come out. That could just be a bit of old grease. So we'll see if we can bring this up to a nice standard. Moving down, you can see the brakes are completely worn out. So new brake pads, you can see it's a little bit dirty on the frame, but we can clean that up, that's no problem. Handlebars, they're looking like they've got a little bit of corrosion on there. Again, might be able to bring this up, or might be able to respray this actually. That probably is worth doing. The grips are completely worn out. It's actually disintegrating in my hands, so they need to be replaced. You can see here the shifter cables are completely mangled up. So again, what I'm gonna have to do is probably rewire this entire bike. They're all mechanical brakes and mechanical gears, so it's not too much of a problem. I've got some spare wire hanging around. As you can see, the forks have got a concerning amount of corrosion on the stanchions there. Now, because these are sprung forks, they're not air forks, I might be able to get away with actually cleaning this corrosion off, but I'm gonna see if I can do a good job of it. Ultimately, if I can't, I'm just going to have to replace the forks, which is going to be a fairly expensive item relative to the price I'm going to be able to sell this bike for. Now, if I spin the front wheel, just get the bike to settle, you can see the wheel's pretty much in true. There's just a slight percussion, a slight wobble. So I'll probably just tighten up the spokes, make sure it's running really nice and smooth. The bearings, they sound pretty smooth. And if I'm going to be sending this out, I want it to be of a decent quality. So I'm going to probably look at re-greasing the hub, even if it is okay. Moving on to the drivetrain, as you can see, this has definitely seen better days. It really has not had any maintenance done on that chain at all. It is completely rusted and it feels a bit loose as well. Shimano Altus gear set, that's pretty good, with a decent sized chainring on the back there, but again it's corroded a little bit, but I don't know whether that's actually from the chainring or whether it's from this rusty chain actually working against the chainring. So we'll see if we can clear this up, because it actually doesn't look too badly worn. Might be able to get away with having that on the bike if it runs okay. And then the same goes for the front chainring. It doesn't look, it certainly doesn't look new, but we'll see if we can get away with just cleaning that up. If not, happy to replace it. I want this bike to be running really well. And this last thing, it's the most concerning thing out of all. And I almost didn't buy the bike because of this. And look look at the back wheel. Oh, look, it's just wobbling on the spindle. I don't think there's even a hub. In fact, that would make sense. So they actually gave me this and said that it had snapped or something. It looks to me like they've just taken the hub out and then they've just been running it on this spindle, which won't work. But apart from that, I can't actually tell if the back wheel is true or not, because obviously it's just wobbling around. None of the spokes are damaged or anything like that. So I think there is some potential here. If I can actually restore the bike rather than replacing all the components, then there might actually be a chance to upgrade in this first part of the project and actually not lose any money, hopefully. I'm going to stop talking for this section of the video and let you sit back and relax with some nice ASMR clips of me stripping the bike down to the frame. So what I'm doing when I'm taking the brake system apart is to just label the outer cables and the inner cables, not because I'm going to reuse them, but so I know what length they are, so that when I'm cutting the next set, it just saves that step of having to guess how long the outer and the inner cable should be. Ugh, lovely. Right, so there we go. The Carrera has been pretty much stripped down to the frame. Left stuff like the brakes on because they're okay, and the bottom bracket seems to be alright as well. So I'm just leaving that and the other crank arm on so I can get in there and clean it. And we're essentially left with a box of bits to clean up, and we've got the chain as well, which I tested the wear on it, and actually the chain isn't particularly worn. Now it's a 7-speed chain, so they're not expensive, but let me know in the comments if you would go ahead and even bother to try and clean that up, or whether you think it's worth just buying a replacement one. Now, in terms of the numbers, I've looked online, and in really good condition, you could probably get a maximum of about £150 for one of these Carreras. But of course, this isn't going to be in the tip-top condition, so I'm thinking this might sell for anywhere between 120 and 130 pounds, which means that we've got about 100 quid to play with until we're in the red, and we're not going to make any sort of profit on this. So really, I think the budget for this bike has got to be about 40 to 50 pounds maximum, and so that is going to be really difficult if we have to replace the fork. Of course, I've got to try and source one of these hubs. The spindle should be all right, but the actual hub, as you can see there, is snapped on the wheel. So at least we have a reference one to go off, but I'm just going to see how much it would be to replace that. I've got no idea how they've actually snapped that hub. Luckily, there were a few bearings left in the race, so I can measure these, and again, I can just order those on eBay, so it shouldn't be too expensive. Everything else looks to be okay. I mean, again, 40 to 50 pounds for the grips, the tyres, brake pads, you know, it all adds up. I think all in all, it's going to be extremely challenging to get it in that budget. So we'll have to just see how we do. But if we don't, there's a real risk that we won't step up into that next level of bicycle. In the next episode, we'll clean, rebuild, and attempt to sell the bike for some profit. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to be notified when that comes out.